Hello and welcome back to Mainly BnB Mastery. I'm Jeff Davis, and today we're going to be talking about probably the most significant change in your revenue bottom line that's happened in vacation rentals in the past decade. And that is Airbnb's fee structure changes that have just been announced that will be taking place for anyone who's on a property management software, otherwise known as a PMS, on October 27 of this year, 2025. That change will also happen for everyone else that is not on a property management software, meaning they're just listing on Airbnb as of December 1 of this year. So why is this so significant and what does that mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about in here. We're going to talk about who's going to be the most effective, which strategies you can use to try and make sure that you're making just as much money as you were before, and what you can demand from your property manager or the management team, revenue management that's taking care of your property. So let's start first of all with what is the change. To tell you what the change is, we need to understand better how the fees have been in the past for Airbnb. Airbnb has had what's called a split fee model, and most all Airbnb users have been selecting the model where they are charged 3% of the booking and the guest pays 12% of the booking, totaling 15%. So let's say, for example, you are a guest on Airbnb and you're going to be going on and booking a property that was $100. You would have fees, Airbnb fees of $12 on top of that, plus your local taxes and things like this, cleaning fees, whatever. Now they're going to be changing this to a single fee structure just on the hosts at 15.5%. So that means now, if you're listing your property at $100 a night, you would only be receiving $85, of course, and if there's any other taxes and things like that, and the guest is paying nothing. Now, this is good. This is good for guests. This is good for Airbnb's bottom line. Ultimately, I think it's good for the industry because one of the biggest frustrations people have had with Airbnb are the fees that they're having to pay on top of it. Ultimately, it doesn't matter who's paying the fees. If a guest is willing to pay a certain amount of money, this just simplifies it. Let's go back to that $100 a night model. If the guest was paying $115, then they're willing to pay $115. So now if you're adding on a fee on your end to get it to that point, you're still going to be able to charge the same amount of money and net the same amount of money, but you're going to have to change it. I want to emphasize, this is not as simple as just adding that extra 12 to 15% on your end in your pricing, because that would work if everybody else did it at the exact same time. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is people like you, the less than 1% that are actually listening and watching this episode, you're already in a different class than most of those people because you are paying attention to the trends. Most people that are hosting on Airbnb have no idea that this is even coming. And what will happen is they won't change their pricing and they will start making a lot less money and they will react once they get into a bad situation. So you want to be ahead of this. You need to have a strategy, and that's what we're going to talk about here. So going back to why this is important, because not everyone's doing it at the same time. Let's say you are in an area where you have a very unique property. It's a great location, a great view. You're on the water. It's a big house, multiple bedrooms. There's not a whole bunch of places like yours just around you. You're going to be probably not affected by this at all. You need to take the strategies. You need to add these fees in on your end, but people are still going to book your house because it's not going to necessarily cost them any more. Where it's a challenge, and I'll give you an analogy from our portfolio. We have a condo, it's Sunday River, that's in a great location, but there are other condos that are available to rent in that location. So our condo, for what it is, I think is one of the nicest ones in there, if not the nicest one. But when you're looking at pictures online, there are others that also look nice. If we change our prices for October 27 to make sure we're not now making 12 to 15% less and others don't, others that have similar one-bedroom condos like that will be charged less money. It'll make ours book less. So the strategy, you have to be all over this with your revenue management. Now, what should you do? That's probably what you're asking yourself at this point. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, on October 26th, because this affects all reservations made after October 27. October 27 or later, when that reservation is made, That's the new fee structure. So if somebody books now for November of this year, it uses the current fee structure. So working with that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make my Airbnb fees and my property management software 12% higher. That keeps it the same as it is now, because Airbnb has been charging me 3%, but they've been processing my credit card for me. That's a 3% fee. If someone's booking on my website, I'm still having to pay a 3% fee for that credit card processing. And I want my website to always be less fees than going on the platforms. We're trying to drive traffic to our direct booking websites, those of you that have those. So on Airbnb, if you have a property management software, you want to make sure you're adding that 12%, at least right around October 26, October 27. If you want to add more, you can, but you got to know your market and your property and whether you can charge more. But if you want to keep the same as it is now, you would need to only add 12% because you've been used to getting charged that 3% fee. On Vrbo, for example, that's a whole other animal. And they may follow Airbnb's model, but for right now, they charge you 5% per reservation. Or those of us who've been around for a while have subscriptions on certain properties, but their guest fees are all over the place. I mean, at our properties, they're anywhere from 6 to 21%. So that's something that you just have to keep an eye on for Vrbo. So my advice is don't do anything different on Vrbo yet. Booking.com always has been charging 15%. So I have always had a 12% markup on Booking.com because, again, they're processing my payments for me at the 3%. So I'm fine with that. So no changes needed for Booking, no changes needed for Vrbo, no changes needed for your direct booking website. But on Airbnb, you are going to need to add that 12% in your property management software. And if you're only on Airbnb, and this doesn't affect you until December 1st, I would hold off, because that time period between October 27, where professionals like me are having to make changes and you don't, you have an edge on that because you can keep that structure. So don't do anything until November 30th, but have a plan. Make sure you know what's coming and that you're going to be able to adapt. In your revenue management, you have to be on top of this once you make that change, because again, others will not necessarily know what's going on. So you're at a disadvantage for a period of time. But if you can pay attention to your pricing, make sure you're paying attention to your minimum stays, the other things that we've covered in this series, you're going to do just fine. And in time, things will even out. So to summarize here, you need to be paying attention to this in the short term. Be ahead of it now. We're at the end of August. You've got another 2 months almost to take care of this. But make sure that you or you're demanding of your property manager to have a plan to be able to deal with this so that you don't lose revenues this upcoming year. Thank you all for listening. We hope that this has been helpful information for you, and we look forward to speaking with you more in the next episode.
If you're ready to turn your main vacation home into a 5-star, high-performing asset to earn more and stress less, visit us at proactiveproperties.me. That's ME as in Maine. Or connect with us on social media at Mainely BnB Mastery. Whether you're feeling let down by your current management company, don't have the time to become the expert you really need to manage it on your own, or if you're just getting started, we offer a free listing review to help you unlock your home's full potential. Your second home or investment property should not be a financial burden. It should be putting money in your pocket to ensure that it will still be a special place for generations to come. Don't wait. Reach out today. We'd love to help.